Yo, what's up? Alright, back. It's been too long not making this video because I forgot and I started thinking about doing every other month again, but it's whatever. At least waiting a little bit longer, I did get to get the biggest arrival of this month's pickups, which is the Resident Evil Generation Pack. So I bit the bullet on game key cards for new releases because I wanted it on my Switch 2. And with this being only $90 as opposed to the $70 for the vanilla version of Resident Evil Requiem, which I've played a little bit of so far. Two of my favorite games of all time for basically an additional $10 each on the Switch 2, which I would probably play them again instead of playing things that I should play. Yeah, figured, no brainer. So open it up. It really is just 3 physical game key cards that entitle you to a download. Requiem and Village Gold Edition and 7 Biohazard Gold Edition. And it comes in this nice little package with the slipcover. And I really like it. And I try to ignore the little banner on the bottom that says game keycard. But also, 25, 30, and 30 gigabyte downloads is not that much. It's just the nature of it not at all being on the cartridges. That's not really fun. I've played some Requiem so far. I'd like to play a little bit more. But it's on the Switch 2, and it's a hot commodity in the household. The point I'm at, I played a little bit more Grace than Leon. Like, I feel like I'm going to go back to Leon shortly. But where I left off, I've played a little bit more of Grace. And the Grace stuff feels like I'm basically playing Outlast, which I would usually say is not good for me because Outlast is so, limited on, actual combat and interaction and stuff. But it has a little bit of that, so I did manage to get into that. And Leon is just I'm glad that in a completely action-based campaign for him, from what I've seen of it so far, that they did leave the polar opposite in. So I think it's working out well, from what I've seen so far. So that's fun. This is the Resident Evil Generation Pack, a big Switch 2 purchase. And also, this is from the Simulator. This is the cardboard version of the Virtual Boy thing. It works really, really well, actually. There's no, you don't have, a strap or anything like that. So with this, it's a little bit weird. You don't necessarily know how you're going to approach this when you go to use the Virtual Boy thing. But you slide it in here. You slide your Switch with no Joy-Con on it in here. And you get the lens right there. And the thing I will say is it takes 5 seconds and it looks like it's going to be the worst thing ever, and your eyes pretty much adjust immediately, and it's you get it. You get what the Virtual Boy tried to do. And I don't know how much the much more advanced technology of the Switch 2 is helping that, but it works really good. The games that they put out so far, they just announced that they're gonna do Clash and Tennis, as well as Mario vs. Donkey Kong on Game Boy Advance on March 10th, Mario Day, of course. I was really surprised there was no Mario's Tennis on there, but I guess that made sense. They were waiting for that. 7 games at launch, some good, some not so good. T&E Soft's golf games would not age well. They take way too much time to do everything. But the Mansion of Innsmouth, the import that they have on there, might be the best game. It's super good. Really, really interesting. Yeah, you get that. You get Tellero Boxer. They're most of them are solid. The Wario Land game is fantastic. Really, really see what they were going for with that. Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. This is $25 plus shipping. Or you can get the real one, which is $100 plus shipping, unless they give you free shipping on it, because it's $100. I don't know. I just I knew I had to have the Virtual Boy experience for sure. We got 2 PS5 games. I did finally bite the bullet and got Sonic Racing Crossworlds. I did the PS5 version because it went on a pretty solid sale for it. Not that I've, tried it and played it yet, but I did really want to get it. My not being so much into Team Sonic Racing, but really enjoying the crossover aspect of All-Stars Racing Transformed in particular, and hearing that it is really, really good. Definitely have been wanting to pick that up. And then Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines 2. I got this on clearance at Walmart for wanting to give it a try. I heard there was some good Walmart clearance. I really just got this for $20. They finally just said fuck it and let's use the Bloodlines name. I've heard some pretty middling things about it, but I was just interested in I don't think this series is ever going to be good at this point, after the original Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, but I'm interested in what they do with it. So that's mostly why I keep picking these games up. One Genesis game that I managed to grab, it's complete inside, which is really nice. The outside could be better. But Fairy Tale Adventure, which is an RPG for the Genesis, published by EA, is developed by New World Computing, the Might and Magic guys. So I do have this, and I have Might and Magic Gates to Another World, also published by EA, developed for the Genesis. I've heard solid things about this. I think I got this for $15, so online, just came across my stuff online, so yeah, pulled the trigger pretty easy on that. And then we get some Switch games. We'll start with the Mortal Kombat, which is this game that I looked at and I saw what was on it. I basically went, I do not need to buy this. This is the last thing that I could possibly need to buy. Because I have all these games already. I have access to all of them. And some of them, I even have access to better versions of them. And the fact that they're not going to put, gold on this one. We got Mortal Kombat 4 arcade version, but not gold. And then they didn't do, they did the Game Boy Advance Deadly Alliance, which is a huge, actually, one of the few things I didn't have, and kind of sold me on it. Because Deadly Alliance was my first Mortal Kombat game. And they had Tournament Edition or Mortal Kombat Tournament Edition and Mortal Kombat Advance. So those are probably the most interesting ones out of them. The arcade games, though, with all the ports for home consoles, the arcade games, I think, get lost as to how good those versions actually are. They look so much better. They're still ridiculous and hard as hell, but there's a little bit of extra charm to it, I think, when you get the arcade versions, even if they're janky as shit and kind of not fun to play for too long. But yeah, this was dropping because I don't know, I just think people expected more out of the collection, so people weren't super crazy about paying $60 for this. So it's kept dropping in price. I picked it up for $35, I think, already, for just the regular Switch 1 version. Definitely something I would have been the Switch 2 version. The Switch 2 version, the only difference is access to online for Mortal Kombat 4, and a couple of quality of life things that I was I'm not gonna pay the $10-15 premium on it, because I'm not gonna play these Mortal Kombat games online for sure. So yeah, just glad to have it. Have the slipcover stuff. Just being a huge Mortal Kombat fan, even as fucking terrible at it as I am, I just felt like I had to get it. This one, I actually am wearing the appropriate shirt for it, because I never went from a what the hell is this game? It looks like trash. It looks like garbage. It's another P-Cube one that I'm not sure is any good, to, oh my god, I have to have that. Even if it's not exactly for me, which it kind of is, learning about what this was inspired by, and also sort of who made this and everything. Chronicles of the Wolf. First of all, hate the name. Hate the name. Definitely heard it. P-Cube probably made them use a less good name, a less specific name. But Chronicles of the Wolf is a Metroidvania made by Megami, who are the same folks that made Wallachia, Reign of Dracula. an homage to very 8-bit era Castlevania stuff. Very hard, but also very, very well informed about the source material. So they had a very specific, like, a really good, like, the name Wallachia, using that as your Castlevania, like, homage game, was, like, a very specific thing to me. I was like, oh, I really appreciate, the setting and the history and all that stuff that people used in the Dracula legend. And, of course, paying homage to Castlevania, like, a lot of, game design mechanics and graphic things and all that. So this is a bigger release for them. They got P-Cube to publish it, and like I said, I think P-Cube made them use a more generic name, because I hate the name Chronicles of the Wolf. This is a Metroidvania inspired by the legend of not the legend, but the Beast of Gévaudan, which is one of, like, the coolest things that you can do. It's, if you're not familiar with the Beast of Gévaudan, Powerwolf has a song about it. Because of course they do. It's about a legendary cryptid, sort of. In the Gévaudan region of France in the 18th century? I want to say 18th century, 1700s. Just about several hundred deaths, dozens to over 100 deaths, in the rural Gévaudan region of France that were ultimately attributed to a large wolf-like cryptid. Sort of crosses over with werewolves and cryptids and all this sort of stuff. So, like, it's confirmed that people actually died from this, and were, like, violently killed. And, like, it took over, like, all of France, that there was, like, this wolf beast monster thing to be hunted that was killing people in the, the farmlands region of France. It's like so hard to come up with this on the spot, but, like, just, like, look it up. It's really, really cool. Wendigoon has a really good video about it too. I immediately looked at the back and said, "Hunt the legendary Beast of Gévaudan." I was like, "Bête de Gévaudan?" Like, Powerwolf does a French version of the song that actually is, like, the better version of the song, because it's in French and it's about France. It's super cool. And yeah, I've actually heard that it's really good too, to get over all that stuff. Like, I knew I had to have it, even if it wasn't good, or if it wasn't for me, as, like, what type of game it was. But, like, people also say it's really good, so I was really, really, really excited to get this. Definitely, like, making it up to the top of the shortlist for games to try out, because I at least want to make sure I, like, try it for a little bit and play it. And then lastly, is the last thing I have to talk about for this month. This is Pizza Tower. I had to check when I was in the store in GameStop looking at the new releases and be like, did they send me this already from me pre-ordering it like 2 years ago? And I never did. I didn't actually order the Pizza Tower physical from Fangamer. This is the same one, though. It's available, like, through GameStop and stuff. It has a reversible cover, noise tower, sticker sheet, and amazing. Oh yeah, I think we have to get a look at this, because this is an incredible print. You get this little poster in here too. Yeah, amazing physical, must have for a great game. Pizza Tower. Physical finally made it out, and I never pre-ordered it, so great to have that. And that's it. That's it for this month. We'll see you next month. I don't know what I have for, like... Oh, Pokopia I have pre-ordered. I don't know what else is going to happen this month, though. Trying to keep up with N64 stuff. I'm, like, feel so overwhelmingly busy about all these sort of things. But the analog makes it, kind of cool to pop something else in that I haven't looked at yet. Get a little bit of footage and see if that leads to me writing a new review. So we'll see if I can keep that up. But, yeah. Alright, peace out. See you next month. Probably, if I remember.